I cannot tell everybody how excited I am to have Jason with us this morning on our first Friday speaker series. Jason is, as I said, a team leader in Fremont, California, great friend, and an even better social media Facebook guru. So I am thrilled to have him here with us. Jason, tell everybody a little bit about you and your background and how this became part of your real estate repertoire.
How this turned into a thing. So I started in real estate in 2016, so not that long ago in realtor terms. I was in the military before, so completely different thing. I had nothing to do with real estate. Not even remotely the same thing. And that's kind of what worked out for me, was the fact that it was not the same. Something totally different. Started with Keller Williams. I was up in the Sacramento, California area, so in the capital. And I don't know, something kind of bit me of like, hey, it turns out the harder you work, the more you get paid, unlike in the military. Got really into it. Sold 26 units my first year, 26 again my second year as I started building a team. And then started to realize like I do enjoy selling real estate, but at the same time, I really like this business building side of it, right? And started to realize within Keller Williams, we had more options as far as different leadership positions we could hold. So I got into coaching. Also realized didn't necessarily love the coaching side of it, but I do love teaching. And through there, kind of as I was going down that path, at the same time, I was getting a master's degree in digital marketing. And so all of that converged into this now. And when I was running my team, when I was running my own sales business, Facebook ads were kind of one of the three legs of the stool that we always talk about, right? Basically, we always say start with Sphere. Then I had open houses, loved them. And then kind of adding Facebook ads on top of that because it would kind of layer in nicely. Kind of then just a few years later, ended up in a team leader role. So I'm in Fremont, which is, if you don't know where that is, it's in San Francisco Bay Area in the Silicon Valley. Like I drive by Facebook twice on my way to work, one on each side of a bridge. And so there's a lot of tech in our area and a lot of talk about Facebook and Google ads, Twitter, like all the different ones are all here. So we do a lot of talk about it. I love Facebook for real estate. I think it's a great, still untapped potential. That's what we're going to talk about. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. So I'm a team leader. So you guys know, like in your office as team leader, my job is to meet with agents and talk to them about how to develop their business. And again, I just kind of love social media. Personally, I'm like a lot of people where it's like Facebook can be a very frustrating thing to spend a lot of time on sometimes. But unfortunately, that's where just about everyone I know is on Facebook compared to the other platforms. So I want to be where the people I know are. Right. So I got really into Facebook ads in my sales business. I was working with one of the top trainers in Facebook advertising for a couple of years. Go ahead. So I was working with a, top trainer and coach in Facebook advertising, learned a lot from him. And that's just kind of how I fell into it by accident. But now I stay in it because I know how powerful it is. So what we're going to kind of roughly talk about is some things that you hear some negative Nancy's say about. So rumor mill. Number one, I hear this so often and people say, oh, Facebook ads are dead or they're dying, right? I heard Facebook's dying, oh, everyone's moved to TikTok or Instagram. Instagram is Facebook, but that's a different argument. But, I hear this is the next best thing. This is the next best thing. The chart on the left there, that's Facebook's revenue every year over year for the past about 10 years. I know it's kind of hard to see. It's a small graph. But last year in 2020, when the pandemic was supposed to crush every business out there, they went up 21% year over year in revenue to closing out the year with $86 billion in volume. Right. And this was a year that Facebook ads were going to die, whether it's regulatory, whether it's the pandemic. Facebook was supposed to be crushed by all these things happening. And what people don't realize is Facebook sells a single product. Like Ford sells cars, but they also sell, or actually Tesla is a better example. Tesla sells cars, but they also sell solar panels. They sell batteries. They sell, they're into rocket ships through SpaceX, which is different, but the same. Facebook sells advertising. That's it. And so giant corporations and small businesses would not be putting $86 billion a year into their platform if it wasn't working. And so that's how we know, like, yes, there are always changes we need to be aware of. I'll even address kind of like toward the end about what I think the next kind of best things are. But as of right now, Facebook works. And on this next slide, we'll talk about why Facebook works. One, they're cheap, right? Like these ads are really cheap. We're talking, I'm in one of the highest priced markets in the world, and we see ads $3 to $4 a lead, or I mean leads at $3 to $4 a lead. I've seen people out in the Midwest getting it. I think sub $1 leads are a little bit harder to do now, just as more and more people get onto the platform, the cost goes up. But you see a lot of $1, $2, right? Not a lot when you're talking about, again, in our area, Zillow now, I want to say it's a minimum of $6,000 ad spend to get on to qualify for Zillow Flex, which is then 35% referral fees on the back end, right? So it's like you're spending tens of thousands of dollars to get these few highly qualified leads. Okay, great. But we're going to talk about the difference between quality and quantity. They're super easy. And the example that I'm going to show you at the end is how you can make it as leveraged as possible, where you're not even responding to anyone until they're responding to some automation, right? And so it's, yes, you can do a lot more to increase your conversion, but I'll show you what the numbers look like if you even just spend an hour a week, hit go, and let computers take care of the rest until they respond to you. Everybody's doing it. Facebook has 2.89 billion active users every month. There are only 7.9 billion people on the planet. So 36, I'm not good at math, but I think this worked out. It's about 36% of the world's population is on Facebook in any given month. Doesn't mean every day, but someone's logging in at least once a month, uniquely in each of those cases. So, and like I said at the beginning, everyone I know uses Facebook primarily over the others. A lot of people are shifting around a little bit here and there, but even though all the talk about Facebook and censorship, let's boycott Facebook. Let's boycott Facebook because of they're selling our data. Let's get the whole Apple, if you heard about the Apple iOS 14.5 change where, oh, Apple is going to just release this thing. Everyone uses iPhones. It's going to crush Facebook. No, everyone's still on Facebook. So if the eyeballs are there, that's where the advertisers want to be. Because everyone's on Facebook, they're also giving Facebook so much data that they're able to target and retarget at a crazy rate. You know, how many people have you done the thing where it's like you think about a toaster and then you see an ad for a toaster, right? Like to a creepy level where everyone's just assuming Facebook's listening. I'm not saying Facebook's listening, but I think what's even scarier than that is I don't think they're listening, and it's really just they're that good at guessing. They've developed the algorithm that well that they can actually tell based off of, I'm friends with Philip. Philip likes triathlons in the snow because he's crazy, and it just happens to know for me, then you just might be interested in this thing. And it's throwing, what is it, every 3 or 4 posts is an ad. And if I'm scrolling through and I just pause on an ad, it says, oh, he was interested. He was at least more interested in that baby diaper thing. So that flies by, and it can learn at such an incredible level. We're going to leverage that through Facebook to say, okay, help me find the people that just might be interested in real estate, even if they don't know they're interested in buying or selling a house yet. Let's at least capture their attention.
In a weird way, it would be more comforting if we knew they were listening.
Yeah. If we knew that they were just listening, and then I know just don't have a conversation near my phone. No, it's mind reading. That's what they're doing at this point. But I'm fine with it. I get cool ads. I normally get ads of things I want to buy, and to the point I bought. I wish it came in the mail yesterday. I wish it was still sitting here. I bought a book strictly because I got an ad. And I bought it through Instagram. It was the first time I've ever bought something through Instagram directly. The ad said you should buy this, so I bought it. Another weird retargeting one was I saw something and I said, I like this ad, is interesting. It's for a little like portable monitor for your laptop. Screenshotted it. The next day, Zach Younger, who's our regional tech trainer that a lot of people know, he showed up in my office and he had that product. And he's like, oh, you got to see this new toy I got. I know I got retargeted because he bought that thing, right? Like it knows we like a lot of the same things, and it's crazy. So let's leverage that kind of creepy artificial intelligence to us in real estate to get our ads in front of the right people. Kind of the difference of if you're putting up a billboard on the side of the highway, you're hitting everybody, and that's great. You're getting a lot of people are seeing it, but you don't, I'd rather show it to 1,000 of the people that are more likely to interact or want to see that ad than 100,000 of the people that don't, right? Because you're paying a lot for that billboard. Don't pay for billboards. Or maybe it works in your market. So another rumor mill, leads are crap, right? Like they're crap. People don't want to talk to me. People unsubscribe. They're terrible leads. They have an awful conversion rate. No one's going to actually buy a house on Facebook because, this is their biggest purchase of their life. They're not going to go meet a realtor on Facebook. They already know somebody. We could go through this massive list of objections. And really what it is it's more of a misunderstanding of what a Facebook ad is. When I hear someone say, oh, well, Google ads are better, or Zillow, or insert your choice of these ads are better. Yeah, they're also not $2, right? Like it's a whole different game. Those have let's use Zillow as an example, or Zillow, Veterans United, Homelight, any of these, Opcity is another big one. Any of these lead sources where they're shifting to a model of 35% referral fees on the back end. It's because they captured those leads 12 to 18 months ago and they spent the time nurturing them. Zillow's not calling anybody, right? Like Zillow doesn't call them until they're high intent, ready to buy or sell. So they're just nurturing them, giving them email touches, maybe some retargeting campaigns over time. Once they warm those up, that's when they sell them to the real estate agent, and they're shifting more toward that 35% model. So you're paying for the fact that they did that follow-up. So what if you did that follow-up instead, since we know it's all automated? What if you did the follow-up for them and reap the benefits of that? In the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, it's really small on my screen, so I don't know how it's showing up on yours, but it talks about the difference of quantity versus quality. And this is one of those weird cases where it's like, I've read cover to cover the MREA 2 or 3 times. Not a great book to read cover to cover, right? It's better when you're reading the sections you need to read at that point in your time. I was helping an agent. We needed to dive into, this is page 135 of the lead generation model. I was helping them with something specific in theirs, and I read this page. I even had this stuff highlighted and I didn't remember it at the time, but it's higher conversion rates will allow you to generate the same income from fewer leads than if you had a lower conversion rate. But a lower conversion rate can be just as effective if you can amass a great number of leads. And it's a very common sense thing. We know a higher converting lead source is going to convert a higher number of leads. This isn't rocket science. But what this is saying is the quality is actually in the quantity. So when I can amass a greater number of leads for a smaller cost, and then I'm the one nurturing them over time, suddenly I actually find the quality and the quantity. It's not highlighted on there, but it goes on to say that, it's the agents that are spending all this time and money trying to find the best lead source. They're not focused, right? Or they're spending a lot of money on those really high quality lead sources, and they're losing 35% now, right? Opcity, Zillow, there's a few others. It's 35% off the back end. People say, yeah, but I didn't have to do the work. And that's cool, but you're losing 35% of your business before you even get that first check, right? So again, we're going to leverage technology for much of the nurturing. And I kind of missed the point there. Think of a funnel, right? Facebook leads are the tippy top of a funnel. They're fairly similar to an open house lead in terms of quality. As far as, people will tell me, they're worse than open house leads. Well, let's think about this. At an open house, how many people have ever complained that they gave me fake information at the open house? I had someone sign john@google.com. You're not john@google.com. You're a liar. That's what you are, right? And so yes, you're going to get fake leads. You're going to get people that say, oh, I'm ready to buy right now. And then you get them with your lender and it's like, what? Like you have a 440 credit score and you've saved no money, right? $8,000 a month in car payments. You're going to find bad leads. You're going to find hot leads. You're going to find everything, just like an open house, because open house visitors are usually pretty top of the funnel unless they're showing up with an agent, right? So it's going to be fairly similar to that. Let's see, another rumor mill. Facebook ads only generate buyer leads. And now that I think about it, I didn't put this together actually for myself before. Going back to that analogy of the open house leads, how many times are agents missing the sellers in open houses, right? Because they see, oh, it's just a nosy neighbor. Oh, they were just looking. Or, oh, I forgot to ask them if they have a home to sell first. So this is another misunderstanding. I got this little bit of data from Commissions Inc. They're doing millions of dollars of ad spend every year for real estate agents. I stole this from them. In 2019 to 20, so it kind of think spring of last year versus spring of this year is when they took this measurement. 1 in 8 buyer leads last year were looking to sell first. Only 1 in 8. But then as they look at their data going into 2021, they saw it shift to 1 in 3 buyer leads have a home to sell before they buy, right? And that actually lines up with the first-time home buyer data in the US, is that about 30% of all sales go to first-time home buyers. That means 60 to 70% of your leads have bought a home in the past. It doesn't mean that they have to sell first, but in this case, they actually saw people indicate as their leads when they talk to them saying, oh, I have to sell first. That's the power of doing millions of dollars of ad spend every year. They get a lot of leads. They get to see this at a really high level. So what we want to do is cast that really, really wide net, capture as many leads as possible. Then we get to filter through who's serious. And then we also get to find the sellers looking to sell in there. And we can talk about at the end about if you're really looking to target sellers, how it works. It's kind of tough on Facebook, and we could talk about why. Let's see. All right. So I wanted to kind of give a little bit of real world example of this is the type of ad that works on Facebook and why. And I want to talk about specifically that why piece. Let's look at on the top right, when we'll go clockwise starting on the top right. So just listed types of ads tend to work best. And that's kind of going with that same reason. You're actually looking for buyers. Don't really go fishing for sellers, kind of throw the bait out there looking for buyers. And if you hook a seller, awesome. But why do we think just listed ads work best? Think of HGTV. They wouldn't exist if people weren't interested in seeing houses, right? House Hunters is about buyers. There are some seller-oriented shows, but when you look at the other ones like $1 Million Listing, yes, they're talking about sellers, but they're featuring buyers, and people want to see into properties. Why do you have nosy neighbors? Because yes, they might have a home to sell, but they also just want to see inside houses. TV exists because this type of content works best out in our universe, US and Canada. So a lot of HGTV stuff, if you didn't know, is in Canada. Weird. You need eye-catching photos. Go ahead, Philip.
That's why I need to go back and watch my 3 seasons of Buying Alaska.
Yeah.
Just
I totally forgot about that. So yes, a real world example right here of someone that lived on the fact that you are a home buying expert that's helping buyers look at the home buying process, right? And so that's why we kind of know that this type of stuff works. Plus, yes, if it's on the MLS, yes, they could see it on Zillow, they could see it on Redfin, their agent could have sent it to them. There's all these different things where they could have seen it, but they didn't. And that's why they clicked on your ad, right? So we need eye-catching photos. I have one of my best performing ads of all time, ironically, was one with kind of terrible, not professional photography. I have some theories around that, but 99% of the time, you need those eye-catching photos because people are scrolling through Facebook, and what are they looking at? They're trying to get past the ad. Every 4 posts is an ad, so they're trying to scroll past that. They're looking at cat videos. They're looking at pictures of their grandkids. They're trying to interact with their friends. They don't want to see these ads. At the same time, when it's a really intriguing thing, we call it stop the scroll, where their thumbs flying by, and this is going to get them to stop scrolling by. You're trying to catch that attention. So like in this case, big windows, it's up in the redwoods, looks real nice. We need those eye-catching photos. Bottom left there, a clear call to action. The same time of where they're just you have like 2 seconds to catch their attention as they're scrolling. You got to tell them exactly what you want them to do. Like think of it as kind of like a little lemming. Like they need to be told exactly what to do. So on here it says, click learn more for the price, address, and photos. Right. And so right next to it, you can't see it on here, but right next to it, there will be a little button that says learn more. If it says buy now, if it says sign up, I want to say click sign up in order to get this information. We're not going to give away all the details. So in this one, I actually gave away more details than I usually do, as far as saying, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. I had run this one a couple times. I was trying a couple different things, but I didn't give away the price. I didn't give away all the photos, and I didn't give away the address. Because if I give away the price, is what everyone wants to know most of the time. If I give away the address, they can flip over to Zillow on their phone real quick, get it. And if I give them all the photos, they want to see things. They're voyeuristic, essentially. I don't want to take that bait away from them. And the top left there. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, there was just Gary had a mastermind with the top 100, and he made the comment just this week, and very clearly that the comment that he made to the teams that were in that room, which are, again, the top 100 most successful teams in the system, was that you're getting out competed and you're getting stuck because you're not making, hang on, I'm going to get the phrase right, not making offers that generate an immediate response.
Yeah. Like you need to tell them what to do, right? You need to ask them for it, right? It's kind of like when you're afraid to make the sale at the end of a call, right? When you're afraid to give that hook of like, or at a listing appointment, like when you're afraid to say, okay, here's what happens next. You sign the listing agreement, I get your house sold, right? Like maybe if you're not telling them this is what's going to happen next, or this is what you need to do, they're kind of skipping past it. And then they're going to wait for someone else to call them. Be like, oh, I saw this ad on Facebook, and they're gone. Even though you generated it, they're gone. But making it easy to read, big piece of that, right? Like it drives me nuts. You see agents take their entire listing description and just drop it in their Facebook ad. Great, you didn't do anything. That better be a dang good looking photo for me to click it. If I'm a high D, right? I forget how much of the world is a high D, but it's a lot of them, right? And so they're scrolling past. They don't have time to sit there and read. That's the high Cs, and the high Cs are kind of lower in population. But yeah, so that's kind of the basics of it. If you want some more very specific things about how to do it, I've made this little, not gonna lie, it's a lead generator. I've made this little PowerPoint or PDF, sorry, not PowerPoint, little PDF that has a few examples of 7 or 8 different ads that I've run. Most of them are based around just listeds. I don't really spam people. Again, I'm a high D. I forget to send out my newsletter most of the time, so you're not going to get that much email from me. But if you go to that little link right there, you can get a list of all those templates. And I mean, you can message me. We can talk. I can help you through others. I just didn't want to go through all of them today. But let's talk about expectations. So this kind of going back to the idea of quality and the quantity, filling the funnel, understanding what the ads are. This is roughly what we end up seeing. And when I say we, I mean me running my own ads, me helping other people run their ads, and me kind of just listening to everyone about what their experiences are. This is roughly what we end up seeing through Facebook ads. For every 100 leads, we're going to have 10 to 20 conversations. You can up that number by how aggressive you are with your follow-up and making sure you're calling them within 4 to 5 minutes. You can increase that number. I know a whole market center running ads for their agents right now. They're getting 30% conversation rate. For every 100 leads, they're having 30 conversations. In their 30 conversations, it's then leading to, I want to say it's 7 or between 7 and 10 appointments set, which is then turning into this same statistic right here, 1 to 3 ready now leads. Theirs is on the higher end of the maybe 3 to 4 leads that are ready now, ready to sign an agreement, ready to sign a listing agreement, or ready to at least start shopping. They've only been running it for a couple of months, so I don't have all their closing data yet. But this is roughly what you end up seeing. And a lot of people will scoff at that bottom one of, 1 to 3 ready now leads out of 100, like 3% conversion rate. That's so low. I I would challenge people. I mean, this is what we say again, using the open houses, right? It's usually about 1 in 100 open house visitors walk in, don't have an agent, want to buy that house right then, right? It's usually, one to 3 out of 100, kind of same thing here. And I'd say open houses, that's going down and down with how many more realtors there are in the game. Now, those 1 to 3% conversion rate for the ready now leads, you can absolutely get more through the long-term follow-up. Think 12 to 18 months. I even have an example I'll share in a minute of even sooner than that, but that they do need follow-up, just like any other lead source. You can't just expect one phone call, one text, one email and bail on them, because it's just not top of the funnel. Let's see. So Facebook and Keller Williams. So Facebook and Keller Williams have a partnership where they're sharing data with each other. So we pass through all our information from KW Command to Facebook. Not all our data. Don't think that was a misspeak. Don't think we're sending everything. They're sending very specific AI oriented data to help Facebook identify who it is that is interested in buying and selling real estate out of all the data they have. So we have one set of AI through Kelly. They have Facebook's set of AI through Facebook. Smash them together. One, it creates a very simple process for us. And I believe I have an example of it coming up at the end. If not, I can log into Command real quick and show you. But it makes it very simple to go through the Facebook or to create a Facebook ad in Command. It's much more simpler than the Facebook Ads Manager. The data flows straight through to Facebook so that there's some things Command can't do yet that you can then just log into Facebook on the back end and do advanced retargeting. Like if you're already familiar with a lot of this and you want to do the more advanced stuff, data flows straight through to Facebook. So you're not going to be like hamstrung there where you're not able to do some of the more advanced tactics. And then that AR partnership can actually drive a lesser CPLC as cost per lead captured. So I would say in some markets, I've seen it not actually happen where Facebook and KW is about equal. At least KW is not costing you more. But in other markets, I've seen, like when you see side-by-side comparisons, KW is actually, you're getting a lower cost per lead because of that combination of AI data. Let's see. So I have a video, I have a link at the end that goes to my YouTube channel. I have a video where I walk through exactly how to set it up in Command, which is why I didn't really want to go through it right now. But some of the data points, whether you set it up in Command or whether you set it up through Facebook itself, these are the different data points that I get the most questions about of how should I do this, right? And so this is a real world setup. This is where I'm saying this is the most basic way to do it. This will get you leads. This is absolutely what I recommend for people if you haven't done this before, or if you've been using Facebook ads and it hasn't been successful, try this one. Try this strategy. Let me know how it goes. So ad spend, $5 to $10 per day. If you are in a very uncompetitive market, like some markets in the Midwest, you could get away with less than that. But I always recommend people to set just a baseline, $5 to $10 per day. Personally, I always do minimum of $10 a day now because my leads are running $3 to $5 a piece. And so I need to be running at least $10 a day to get enough of those leads in the net. Because remember, you're going to need a lot of these leads. We're looking for 100 leads. And if I'm spending $5 a lead and I need 100 leads, that's $500 for a conversion. And average commission here is about $20,000, we're doing okay. If your average commission, if you're spending $500 and your average commission is $5,000, you're still doing okay. Like you're doing great, right? Like you're doing pretty good 10 to 1 conversion rate there, or ROI. So you're doing pretty well. Duration. This one I see people get interesting on. Most people either go way too short or they'll go way too long, right? A little sweet spot in there is maybe 5 to 7 days because they're going to be doing a just listed ad. The property hits the market on Friday. They get that ad up there. And then they're like, oh, well, it's such a hot market. It's sold by Monday, or we're pending by Monday or Tuesday. So they want to kill the ad. You didn't give the algorithm enough time to learn, because what's going to happen in the first day, you may not see as many leads in the first day as you will in day 2 and 3, because Facebook's looking at it and they're learning. They're saying, okay, Philip clicked on the ad. Brian saw it, but Brian scrolled right past it. Brenda saw it, but she slowed down and she kind of looked at it. So then they're going to take that and figure out, who do they know? What are they doing? And great. I didn't put this in here, but what the social dilemma on Netflix, if you want to see how scary this algorithm is, fantastic documentary. And you'll get off Facebook for like a week, but then you'll come back. They explain why, because you're addicted. So duration, at least 5 days. Going 30 days has its advantages, but not at $5 to $10 a day. If I'm going to do like a 30-day ad, I'm going to do it. That's where I might do $1 a day. I don't do a lot of those anymore. I'm basically $5 to $10 a day, 5 days. Most likely I'm doing $10 a day for 5 days. Phil.
And Jason, that's a change, right? Because when, right, I mean, we were running ads that were much more in that $1 to $3 a day range early on. Am I?
And I was in a lower price point market. There were less people in the market, like fewer advertisers. But also sometimes what I was doing was, a lot of the $1 ones is where I would do retargeting, which again, within Command, we're not doing that yet. But that's where I would have that $1 a day kind of dripping on people in the middle. I've already captured them in the top of the funnel. Then I'm going to spend $1 a day over 30 days to kind of re-hit those ones. Hey, I had a price change. We don't do a lot of price changes anymore, but my last listing had a price change. Retargeting went through the roof on that because I was able to say through Facebook, I say anybody that interacted with the ad, anybody that clicked on the ad but didn't sign up, or anybody that clicked on the ad and signed up, hit them with this ad. And so I literally wrote something in there along the lines of like, okay, you didn't like this at $5.99. How about $4.99? Something like that, right? Where it's like, hey, this price dropped and then you could see we had people that had not previously, they had clicked it, but not signed up on the website to get it. We got them the second time. Then it's actually through that one, I have 3 referrals out right now waiting on someone. I let other people nurture them. I don't want to chase them anymore. I'm busy. So, but I have 3 referrals out from that one ad. Radius and location. This one gets tricky. People will try to pinpoint you on Facebook. You used to be able to pinpoint. I could say this little tiny neighborhood in here of like, you could draw like around a little neighborhood. It's real easy to violate all the Fair Housing Act rules doing that. So Facebook got sued from the, was it HUD, Housing and Urban Development, I think, or department. They sued Facebook. Facebook isn't allowed to do that anymore. So they gave you a minimum of, I think, 15 miles. I just say 20. That's easy. I do 20 miles around the city of the listing. Sometimes, though, I will use a feeder market. So if I know right now, I know a lot of people are actually moving here from Florida, which is weird because a lot of people are moving here to Florida. There's a lot of people moving from Florida to here. I might run ads around their city. You can find where your feeder markets are through Command, through the referral tool, whole different tactic. But if you know a feeder market for your market, run an ad for your listing there. It absolutely works. I had some, if you know how to pinpoint that feeder market, it can be very, very beneficial. Targeting, I don't do any. I don't do much targeting anymore. Targeting meaning selecting all the interests and saying, well, I want people that like horses because it's a horse property, or people interested in Zillow. I take all that out. I'm, again, wide net. I want to go really wide on this. I want to capture as many people as possible, and we'll filter them out later. But I stopped doing targeting. Facebook's doing pretty well on it. Every now and then I'll do it. But if you need a simple tactic, don't do targeting. And then specifically within Command, and this is going back to how Command's actually going to help you, you want to use auto tags. And what that'll do, I just put Facebook ads dash the street address. And then that way, every lead that comes in gets automatically tagged with that tag. So I can go back and say, for instance, this one I just ran, this lady's name sounded familiar. I clicked on her profile. I have all the tags of she is coming back to every property, and every time she gets assigned to a smart plan, which is this next one, and every time she gets mad about it. Quit giving out your information if you don't want me to talk to you. But every time she signs up, and every time for 2 years, and every time she says, oh, you always text me. I'm like, you always give me your phone number. Sorry. I'm getting sarcastic with her now. It works real well. So I'm also doing auto smart plans because you can do that in Command now. I use the Tyler Shields Facebook leads plan. You can also just search my name in the Smart Plan library and it'll pop up in there. Absolutely make sure you customize it, because I've had some people use it, they don't customize it, and I get phone calls from it because my email signature is on it if you don't customize it. So make sure you update it with your information. But what'll happen is the lead will come in, it'll delay like 1 or 2 minutes, and that Smart Plan will trigger. So they'll get a text, they'll get an email. That's going to run for 7 days. They're going to get a text and email just about every day for 7 days. I just was writing a Facebook post about this on my last one. It was interesting. Most of the responses that we were getting were not in day 1 or 2 of the Smart Plan. It was day in 3 or 4. And so they've gotten 2 or 3 texts by the time they're responding. They've gotten 2 or 3 emails by the time they're responding. And, sometimes they're happy, sometimes they're not so happy texts, but that's okay. I don't care. Quantity over quality right now. Follow-up strategy. Mine is I'm only responding to those leads that respond. Right now, I just don't have the time to chase them. I know we can increase our conversion rate if I was calling them. So now I'm going to start giving them to an agent and he can pay me a referral fee on them. So I know I can increase the conversion rate within 5 minutes, but you could literally do nothing and only respond to leads and hit on the lower end of that conversion rate, about 1%. Only respond to leads that are interacting with you on text. As far as people always ask this one too, I'll kill an ad if after 3 days, the cost per lead captured is more than $5. Just because, and I might have to start changing that number because now it's getting up and up. But that's usually my time frame. I don't want to kill it in day 1 or 2 unless I know there's an error in the ad, because I want that algorithm to learn. Like in day 1, it might say $10 per lead, and that sucks. But then by day 2, then you get a flood of leads and drives the average down. So that's basically how I set it all up. So kind of going back to the idea, real world example, this was the last ad I ran. Hold on, I actually had an update for this, if I can find my note, and if not, I'm moving on. Okay, I'm gonna try to remember this last update. So I had $60 ad spend, a little bit different than I normally do because I was only going to run it 4 days instead of 5. And that just had to do with procrastinating and not starting it on time. So I reduced it down to 4 days. Just listed ad, very similar to the example one I showed earlier. $60, 4 days of ads, received 15 leads. So we're looking at $4 a lead. Pretty good. It's not my best one. My best is below $2 in our market, but about $4 a lead. Had 5 text conversations. So 33 or so % conversion rate, 5 text conversations. And one of those, I have the example of it right there. You can see my text is the one on the bottom. That was the 4th text he got, was that one on the bottom saying, "Hey there, if I found the perfect home, when would you want to buy it?" And he says immediately, but only in Hayward to San Leandro. And this, again, I ran like a 20-mile radius, and he named the two neighborhoods right next to this listing. So I got it. How many bedrooms are you looking for? Started a conversation, handed it off to another agent for a referral. But that, 1 in 15, where are we sitting at? That's about 2% conversion rate. Kind of right in the middle where we expect to be. The extra data that I broke down on it was, man, I think I must have thrown that sticky away. Weird. How many people were mad? Like I got 2, I tried to screenshot them for this, just so I keep vulgarities out of it. Got 2 people really pissed off that I was texting them. Sorry. I think I had 3 that were just completely invalid. That could be landlines and we were texting. Maybe if we call, maybe it'd be there. And then 5, no response whatsoever. So we're still going to be following up with those. And 1, the lady that's registers every time that says, I'm not going to buy. And she registers every time. So I'm calling that 1 ready now and 6 to follow up with or to drip on over time, which isn't too bad for $60 total spent. And with that.
And she's not going to buy until she writes a check.
Yeah. She's going to buy.
And she's going to buy. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. She's not going to buy until she buys, which is anytime.
Here, Wendy, I'm after you. I keep seeing her name pop up. First I thought I know a realtor with her same first and last name, and it turns out it's not her. I looked. It's just a lady in the Bay Area that likes to click on things no matter what market I run them in. So a couple more resources. So there's the ads template one. That's the one that I just sent you, or that I had a few slides back. And then this is the way YouTube works. I gotta get more subscribers before they'll give me an easy to follow URL. So I used a bit.ly, just an easy way to get to your YouTube channel. It's basically whenever I do things like this, like teaching with other market centers or something's hot in my brain, I throw it up on there. My plan is to get more intentional about it. We'll see how it goes. But on there, there's exactly like me walking through exactly how I set up an ad just a month ago in Command, right? Here's the exact criteria. Here's the exact steps I go through. I have one in there. I think about the referral network tool, a few different things. Just check it out. And then I think I've actually covered these. These are kind of just common questions I get. Google ads. I've heard Google or Zillow is better. Man, I went way longer than I thought, obviously. But I heard Google ads or Zillow is better. Yeah, go back to the misunderstanding. Like, yes, in theory, they are higher quality. Higher quality doesn't necessarily mean better at the time, depending on how much you're paying. What about Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and TikTok? Instagram, I love it. The Instagram is bottom a few years back for ungodly amounts of money. There's a few different tweaks and things you'd have to do a little bit different within Instagram. But on this last one, I ran it. I got some through Instagram, went pretty well. Twitter would depend on each market. I actually think in our market, it could be pretty killer because everyone's on Twitter here. That'll depend on each market, but I'm not against it. TikTok, more against it, just because I don't think you should spend your time there for this. Like, as far as ads go, I'm not sure yet. There are people killing it on, you are getting tons of reach out of TikTok. If you are a charismatic person and you want to build your brand there, sure, totally. Also, if you want to be on TikTok, but you're not sure, like you don't have one yet, but you want to, Instagram Reels, that's where I would spend more time. And LinkedIn, I don't know about ads for LinkedIn, but I have someone in my office that has a very, very high net worth individual that he got through LinkedIn. And this is to the idea of where we say, oh, like Facebook ads are crap leads because, like, you know, serious people aren't shopping on Facebook. Okay, this guy met him through LinkedIn, like, just, hey, I like your posts. I need help buying a house. And he's like way up there in the world. So way up there. Anyways, everyone's out on social, so it's out there. What's the next big thing? Focus on Facebook. That's what I would do if you're not already focusing on it. And if I had to choose one, that's what I'd still use right now. Google My Business. If you want to go learn about that, hit up YouTube. There's some good resources there. There's a way to get some, that's kind of the next up and coming thing. YouTube, do anything you can on YouTube. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Hulu TV ads, I don't know a lot about yet, but that's the next one I'm watching. And then don't forget about email marketing. That's a big thing about why we're collecting wide net, is there's a lot of great you can do through email marketing. You just got to collect email addresses. So that is technically all I have. I put some of these in here in case you didn't have any specific questions.
We'll just open it up. I mean, Jason, first of all, thank you. An incredible amount and variety of information. So what questions do you have? I know I've got a couple, but I'm going to throw this open to everybody else first. Nobody?
Well, yeah. Jason, I just like to say thank you, man. I appreciate it, and I appreciate, Philip, you putting this together. It's very, very interesting and in-depth conversation about something that I know I can benefit from.
Yeah. And I mean, it's really like, if you can go play like once a week, you know, and go drop, you know, $50 a week, so $200 a month, it's, you know, it can stack up over time into something really, really cool. And a lot of people are kind of abandoning it sometimes for the easy buttons. And it's like, this is pretty easy. It's not that hard.
You know, it's a great point, because it's something that I say that I do surrounding all my listings to my clients. And sometimes I just don't feel like doing it, or I'm just bogged down. And two, one of the things I think about too is I don't really want more buyer leads right now per se, right? Yeah. And so that's the thought process. And when you broke it down to say, well, whatever that or number you put out, like 1 in 3 sellers or buyers have a home to sell, I'm like, well, duh, that's freaking genius.
Do you have a buyer's agent?
Not yet, no.
Would you take a referral fee for handing off those leads?
Yeah, absolutely. All day long.
I mean, that's what I do. on all of them.
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
the deal I kind of have with my agents here is I won't work a client in our territory. If they're outside of our territory, I'll work a listing. I just don't have time for buyers. Right. And so, yeah. So, I mean, right when I took this job about 6 months ago, ran 2 ads on both of them. We got a buyer seller on both, referred them out to one specific agent, but I said, hey, here's the deal. I want a referral on the buy side and on the sell side on both of them. And because this guy is both of these are so high quality, I want 30% of each. And so it's like, I got basically an entire one commission check just by referring it out. So fish out the sellers, and then, find a buddy that you could just hand them all to in the office.
Jason, and it's 6,000% Facebook ad ROI right there.
Yeah. Oh, I think I had more than that. I did the math on it once because of our price point, and it was such a low cost of ad. I think it just nailed it on like when to run it. That's when I had like the $175 or something leads, but they were buying $750 to $1 million properties. All right, I'll take it.
Hey, Jason, Bob Gill from the other side of the continent, Boston.
Awesome.
So thank you. This is helpful, and I think what's most helpful is describing what it takes to create a good ad that you're going to get some traction. That there is a call to action like that, and so we need to improve on that. That's one for sure. But what we're finding, and it might be related, most likely is, and I do have buyer agents, and we run Facebook ads for new listings, for open houses, for price reductions. I mean, everybody knows we're out there, and we get leads, and we don't get any conversions. And so part of it gotta be that my agents are hearing the scuttlebutt is that Facebook ads aren't, they aren't working, and so why should I do it? So I can't speak to the amount of follow-up, but just to say on the surface, we're getting wrong numbers. We're getting people not answering. We're not connecting with people. Right? It's very infrequent. So there's something wrong, and so that's my concern. So I'm anxious to figure that out, and I don't know it. This is helpful, but that's our dilemma.
Two things I'd point out is, one, I would look at how many leads is it, right? To like really break down those numbers to see if like how close are your numbers lining up with these numbers, as far as if there was 100, how many conversations are happening, like what are the metrics lining up at all? Because I'll talk to some people, and it sounds like you're more structured than this, but if I talk to agents kind of first time trying it, they're like, man, I tried it, it just didn't work. I was like, oh, what'd you do? I ran $1 a day for 7 days and I got 2 leads, and neither of them called me back.
I'm running them. We're running all the ads. The agents are just getting the leads. And so the one is with typically if we're going to run a new listing, an open house, price reduction, you could get on that weekend when it happens, you get 7 or 8 Facebook leads. And so you got to aggregate them, and we're just not converting. But even on the leads we're getting, we're unable to reach them. But the question is, how diligent are we? And I got to check that.
Yeah.
But we're just not converting at the moment. So
the second part I was going to say kind of goes with that. I was saying if you're not doing the auto smart plans, the top right here, if you're not doing the auto smart plans, I would look at doing that as well. Like, just so it's those, leads never come in at the right time, right? Like you could be your buyer's agents could do nothing all day long, and that 10 minutes that they were busy is when the lead comes in, right? So the auto smart plans kind of help with that. And I mean, they're not perfect.
I'm sorry, Jason. How does the auto smart plan address this? We'll run it when like today, we've got open houses going on for the weekend, and so we're going to run Facebook ads, and that's all set up. We got a person going to do it. So what's with? I don't understand the value of the auto smart plan.
I mean, it's really just as someone's contacting them within the first 5 minutes. Right. And so it's sometimes hard to pick up the phone and call right then. So instead it's going to send them a text. And something we're seeing more and more is, especially they're not younger anymore, but as like the next generation down. So I'm 37. So I always forget. I'm right on the line of not millennial and millennial. So millennial and younger are getting more and more away from wanting to talk on the phone, but they'll text back all the time, right? And we know, have you ever received a text on your phone that you didn't read?
No.
I read them all. I have, hold on right now. I have for emails,
I got
4,333 unread emails.
I have no unread text.
Right. You'll always read a text. You may not respond to it, but you'll always read it. And that's what I'm saying.
Okay. So what you mean by auto smart plan, it's the response.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the putting out the ads, it's the responding to them.
Right. Correct.
Be quicker.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what it does is, again, if you go into, I might have a YouTube video about it, but if not, if you go into Command, you look at smart plans in the library and search for that one right there. And I can get these slides to Philip so he can send them to you guys. Yeah. If you go into that one, you can see what happens. It sends them a text and an email on day 1. Day 2 is a text and an email. Day 3, it mixes it up a little bit. So it's just some automation to kind of poke them and kind of, it's a common rule of marketing, and it applies to real estate as well, is it generally takes 7 attempts to get to someone. And that's what was interesting about seeing these ones on this last one, where I'm not calling them, I'm just doing this auto plan and they're responding around step 3, 4, 5.
Gotcha. Okay. I understand now. Thank you. That's helpful.
Cool.
So I got a couple of things to work on. So this is good.
Well, and I've got on the back here, this is all of my different contact information. It's pretty common theme you'll see there. Reach out to me, especially this. I normally tell people don't email me because I have 4,333 unread emails, but that email account I check. So the Jason at Jason the Flynn, if you want to email me or reach out to me, I stopped giving out my phone number because it started getting stupid. I stopped responding to texts or they get lost. So, but if you email me on that email, if you want to, I can look at your ads as well, or whatever. We can kind of help figure out what is working and what isn't working.
Thanks, Jason. Much appreciated.
Yeah. Good. Other questions? Who's got other questions? Jason, could you go back to that ad, the 4 photo, the sample one? Yeah. I'm just curious, and I maybe talk everybody through what we're actually looking at and what did you design versus what did Facebook build for you, just on that specific screenshot.
Okay, so on this specific one, and there's a few different kinds of ads or posts that you can create. And so this one, it's just a single image, right? So I created that image in Command Designs and then just told it within Command Campaigns, I told it, go talk to Command Designs, pull that image over, right? So that's the power of being on a platform where everything's talking to each other. I love Canva, like this presentation's on Canva, but the pain with Canva is I have to go get the photos from the MLS, I have to download them, I have to upload them, I have to download this image, I have to upload it to Command. I mean, when I created this photo, it pulled the images out of the MLS into Designs. I saved it in Designs, went into Campaigns, told it, go grab this photo, so it makes it all one login, super simple. So I created that, but it was still just a template. All I did was say, I like the see it to believe it. I like that saying. And I chose the 4 photos for it. Where it says form on Facebook at the bottom, click to learn more. Oh, I just realized I left a slide out. Here, hold on. I'm going to, because I left kind of a critical slide out. 1 second. In Facebook ads, or within Command, when you generate a Facebook ad, there is one thing in the world you do not want to miss. Bob, it sounds like you're already doing this because you're getting ads or you're getting leads. Actually, can you see my screen where it says Facebook settings? Okay, good.
Yep.
This button right here where it says Facebook lead generation form recommended is absolutely critical if you want leads, right? So what happens with this is now when they go click on that photo, it's going to pop up a thing that says, hey, for more information, fill out your name, email, and phone number. That's the lead generation form. Because it's Facebook and they're creepy and they already know all the information there is to know about that person, it pre-fills it out for them. They have an opportunity to change it, which is when we get the fu@fu.com email addresses. They do have an opportunity to change it, but the serious ones, or ones that are at least somewhat curious, they leave their information fine in there. 99 point all the time, all the nines you can think of percent of the time when people tell me, I ran an ad. I got no leads. This sucks. It's because they clicked site or landing page right here. And site or landing page, what it's going to do is it's going to take them to whatever page I tell them. And if I have at the bottom, or like I always just send them to my website, my jasonflynn.kw.com website, right? And I send them to the specific property so they could scroll down and say, wow, this property is neat. Contact agent to get a tour, yay. That goes crazy high quality and really low quantity. That might be one person out of a couple hundred, but those are the gold ones. I actually talked to an agent once that had no idea. He logged into Command for the first time in a long time. And I was like, hey, like you got all these things marked L, all like that means lead. It's like, where'd those come from? He's like, I don't know. We went digging around. Somehow people were finding his website and registering on his website and like, hey, I got your name from Bob and I need to buy a house. It's like, you have all these leads. You didn't even know it. Silly goose. But so kind of back to the other one, that's what you're seeing there is whoops.
Jason, can you keep that there for a second and then just go 2 bars down and just
right
maybe 30 seconds on, what are the best ways to use that piece, that website or landing page? Do you go build the landing page?
I no longer build landing pages. Instead, I just pull up my website. So doing things live with Command is sometimes fun. So let's try it. Yeah. So I just go to my website, jasonflynn.kw.com. And let's say I can't think of any listings off the top of my head right now. So let's just say I had a listing in Fresno and it happens to be, whoa, there's some cheap properties in Fresno. That's cool.
I'm moving to California.
I was going to say, we're moving from Boston and heading to California, Bob.
Okay, so this is a terrible example because there's only one photo, but let's act like it was a really good looking one. I would just copy this right here, that address, and that's what I'm putting in there. So then that way they click on it. It says, oh, sorry, you got to give me your name, email, and phone number. They give me that. It takes them to this page. And then once they get to this page and they scroll through, they can say, ask your agent. It's me because it's jasonflynn.kw.com. Even if they're not logged in, it has my information. They can schedule a tour. As they continue to scroll down, oh, interested, you can talk to me here. I can, if they click on anything about Keller Mortgage, it links it to me. And so if they inquire about mortgage or covered, it's going to keep them in my little world. If they try to favorite the property, it's going to say, sorry, you got to sign in first. And so if they actually like this and they want to favorite it and it tells them they have to sign in first, I'm going to get a second notification saying, oh, and they created an account. Oh, that's like, drop everything. They're amazing. Call them. But so a landing page was roughly the same thing. Technically, the difference with a landing page is it gets rid of this navigation piece. So they're forced into one area. The only way out of it is to close it or submit more information. I don't really want to do that. Another question, I guess I could cover this in there and I didn't, is essentially if I have 1,000 people view the ad, then 10% of that 100 are going to click on the ad, and out of those 100, 10% of people are going to register. So for every 1,000 people that see the ad, one person is going to register. 10. So 1% conversion rate though. And so that's a whole different one. That gets into, trying to tell if your ad is working properly. It's a whole different. I think I have a video on the YouTube channel called Does My Facebook Ad Suck? And I'm about to update that one probably next week anyways, but it's breaking down how to tell once you're kind of into it and you've run that play a few times, how to tell what's wrong with it. And so Bob, there might be something in there where we could say it's entirely possible that there's something about the ad that people are wanting to change. It's like not the quote that Philip had from Gary, right? There was something that it wasn't enticing enough for them to give you their real information. Yeah. Sometimes Facebook's information is out of date. I changed my phone number a couple of years ago. I don't know if Facebook probably has my real one by now, but they might not. A lot of people signed up on Facebook on an email 14 years ago and they don't have access to that email anymore. But the serious ones update their info.
Thanks.
Good. We are at the bottom of the hour. Let everybody go unless there are final questions. No? Jason, thank you so much. Thank you for being with the crew today. I know a couple people had to hop off.
Appreciate it.
like I said, I'll send you the thing unless you went and
Perfect.
signed up on the email list. I'll email that out too, but I'll get you that.
Perfect.
Feel free to reach out. I'm not too busy. Well, I'm busy. I'm slow to respond to some things, but I like talking about this. This is fun for me. So reach out to me and let's talk.
Super.
Thanks.
All right.
Cool.
Everybody be safe, be well, enjoy the weekend.
All right.
Jason,
Yeah.
thank
Have a
you so
good
much,
weekend.
and we'll talk soon. See ya.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye.